On WCLE, welcome in here. Time for an in-studio interview with one of our good friends of the community. Renee Curry is here, the program coordinator for Isaiah House 117. And we're going to talk to her about some things coming up, talk about some lemonade stands. Is that right, Renee?
That's right. We're excited. I'm in yellow today.
You're in yellow, ready for that. And first of all, Renee, just kind of get us up to date, man. Isaiah House has been such a big thing going on around our community for the past couple of years. Get us caught up. What's the latest?
Well, we've been open 8 months, and in those 8 months, we've served 82 children. But that doesn't even begin to give the full picture. In our first 180 days, if you take a children day by 3 children, 3 days, that's 9 children days. So in our first 180 days being open, we had 318 children days.
Wow.
So God has really used this house to love, and we are seeing it make a difference in the lives of the children, from the smallest to the almost 18-year-olds to teen moms with newborn babies. And the house is just truly making a difference for these children.
Now, we're talked about the success and what you guys are doing, but for people that may be hearing this interview for the first time, talking about Isaiah 117 House, explain exactly what you guys do there.
So without an Isaiah 117 house, the children, when they're removed from their home through no fault of their own and going into foster care, would go back to an office, to a conference room, and they would spend hours and now actually days that they could spend there because the need for foster families is so great, greater than it's ever been before. And so instead of having to go back to an office and a conference room with people scurrying around doing all the things that they have to do to try to get them placed, to get paperwork done, they come back to the Isaiah 117 house where they decide that for a teen it might be sushi as their comforting meal, or for a child it's a McDonald's Happy Meal with fries, and they get to make those choices. They get to have their voice heard because in these instances, they're not asked if they want to be taken away from grandmother and school and all the things that are before them. They don't know. Their voice isn't heard. So they get to tell us their favorite animal so we can get that lovey for them, their favorite color, their favorite character, their favorite shoes. And then we provide for them because they come in with nothing and often dirty. And if they have something, it can be in a garbage bag. And when they leave with multiple duffel bags filled with beautiful quilts that have been made from our community, blankets, pillows, clothing for 3 to 4 days, pajamas. If the foster family doesn't have a baby bed or a twin bed, we supply those. We were at a recent event, and a foster family came up to us and they said, "This is the baby that you provided that bed for."
Wow.
From the Isaiah 117 house.
That's remarkable stuff. Again, Renee Curry, program coordinator for Isaiah 117 House. We're going to talk about the lemonade stands, which is, now, was this something that came out of COVID? Was this kind of something we did that, or was it prior to COVID?
It was prior to
Okay.
COVID. The first house, they just had a bunch of kids that wanted to do something, and so they did lemonade stands. It's to bring awareness. It also helps us raise funds, but it's really just to help the community tell people about the need and about what we're doing. And so it's a lot of fun. Now, during COVID, we had to do it a little bit differently. And during COVID, we were actually raising money for our land. And
That's
in
right.
that course of that time, our community rallied together and purchased the land for our house.
Yeah, I knew there was a virtual lemonade stands that we
Yep.
did during COVID, so I guess that's why it led me to that question. So how can people be involved? I mean, everything that you just talked about takes funds to make happen. And I can't think of any better way than helping a child, especially during these most difficult times, things that most of us will never experience in our lifetime having to go through. But for these young folks that is going through this, the Isaiah 117 House is there to provide all those things that you just mentioned. And these little lemonade stands is a way that people can help out on a smaller scale, right?
Well, and the children get to be a part of it, and they get, because it's their friends.
Sure.
It's people that are in their school. And so it's a beautiful way that the community as a whole can get together. So you can host your lemonade stand if you're a business. We've got some businesses that are going to be coming alongside us, and we'll be announcing those soon. So you can go and have your lemonade stand in your neighborhood, in your yard, in your business. I love it because this time we're having it July 15th, 16th, and 17th. So it would be amazingly beautiful if some churches came along and said, hey, we'd like to host one at our church on Sunday morning, and just have some kids or some people there with some lemonade, just loving and spreading the word for us.
Again, we're talking about the Isaiah 117 House, the lemonade stands, which is a annual fundraiser that helps with all of the projects that they do there at the house. And we're hoping that, as Renee just mentioned, whether it's churches, communities, or people just individually, whatever way that you feel you can help, that you'll set up one of these lemonade stands. So kind of walk us down. When we think about a lemonade stand, is it just that simple?
It's just that simple. So we have it in a few ways. Like, we go out and we deliver bags to neighborhoods that have a water and a lemonade in it, and then just a letter about us, because eventually we want to have hit every neighborhood in our community so that everybody knows about what we're doing for the children. And then it's having a lemonade stand. That lemonade stand can be elaborate. You can decide that you want to make a lemonade stand and have, but most of them are tables with a tablecloth or not a tablecloth and some lemonade and whatever products that you might want to put out there. And people come along and they're served lemonade. You tell them about our story, and then if they choose, they're welcome to donate.
That's and like I said, it's just that simple.
It's just that simple.
Take a concept that we all have probably done at one point in our life, and you're doing this to help raise funds for Isaiah 117 House. Now, again, you mentioned this is coming up in July, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, right around the corner here. So I would say that the ones who have the best stands are those who prepare. So it's really time now to either get your team together or get your family together, your neighborhood together, and start creating a plan.
Exactly. And we had a neighborhood that pulled together last year and they had a blast. In fact, they decided that they were going to do a community hot dog lemonade stand, and it was a great time. We got to go out and join them, and they did an amazing job. It was a lot of fun. Their whole neighborhood got together, and then they were also able to raise funds for the children.
Again, Renee Curry is with us, program coordinator for Isaiah 117 House. We're talking about lemonade stands and how you can be involved in helping out just a great organization here in Cleveland and Bradley County. And we hope that people will heed and get on board and come on out and do that. So talked about how simple it was. What's the first step that they need to do? They need to reach out to you and say, this is what we're doing?
Yep, they can reach out to us. We'll be glad to help them. We'll provide the information for them to give out. We'll talk to them, guide them in any questions that they have. So they can message us on Facebook, Isaiah 117 House Bradley Polk. They can call us at 423-813-3113, and they can email at Renee, RENEE, at Isaiah117house.com.
Renee, I know how personal, and I guess there's no better way to say it, the personal that the Isaiah 117 House is to you. Why is that? Why do you, you pour yourself into this. There's nobody in any organization that represents what is going on any more than you towards the Isaiah 117 House.
You're very kind. It is my heart's passion. Early in life, I had thought I might be a foster parent. I'd actually at one time thought I might be a DCS worker, but neither one of those things was I able to do. But I believe God was preparing my heart for now. I taught Sunday school at church for high school girls for over 15 years. Actually just left when I was doing this ministry when we opened our doors, and I knew I couldn't do both. And so children have always been a passion for me. Our house was always the hangout house, and I loved that. And so now I get to have a big hangout house for the children and to see the volunteers. It's funny because the volunteers sign up way in advance a lot of times. And so they never know if there will even be a child. We certainly don't know what child will be at the
Sure.
house. But it is so neat to watch how each of the volunteers have what that child needs for that moment. Maybe they've had a life experience that may give them comfort, or it's just that they have that wisdom to show them, or just loving them and sitting
loving
there
them.
with them. But seeing the difference, I wish I could let everybody have a glimpse of what happens when these kids come in. When you've got a teen that comes in and, her lip and her jaw are quivering because she's so afraid.
Right.
She doesn't know what's going to happen next, but she gets a big hug. She gets help deciding because she doesn't even know what she wants to eat. And she doesn't want to make any decisions, and she's afraid of everything that's going to happen. But you watch her through the evening, and you watch her as she's been loved, as she's been hugged, as she's been listened to. And she begins to talk about how safe she feels.
Right. Man, I mean, I'm sitting here now, and I couldn't imagine any better feeling that an individual can be a part of. And everybody doesn't have the same armor. I mean, not some people can't handle these situations you're talking about, but we could set up a lemonade stand. Everybody can contribute in a different way. It's kind of like ministry. We all can't get up on the pulpit and preach on Sunday. Some of us can't lead the choir and sing beautifully.
I cannot.
But some of us know how to lead, whether it's young people or whether it's helping mow the grass at the church, whatever it is, it all comes together to make that community what it is in the church community. And that's what you do at Isaiah 117 House. It's everybody in this community, top to bottom, from our leaders, our officials, governmental people, all the way down to someone setting up a single lemonade stand on a single day.
That's something that is so beautiful about this ministry.
Yes.
Is it is all the way down to the children. It's all of you who at Mix 104.1 who have blessed us from the very beginning to be behind us and let us to come and share, and have made it possible for us to get the message out. It's everybody. And so when I get the pleasure of being the person to be there with those children, it's just, the volunteers and I are just representing all of you.
Well, we think you're doing it wonderfully, and we appreciate the job that you guys do. We're just so blessed to have Isaiah 117 House, and what a beautiful facility it is.
It is.
Right
It
here in our
truly
community.
is.
And it's through the generosity of this community that made it happen.
It is absolutely amazing. We did have a child who walked in and she said, "This house is bougie." And I just laughed. And I said, "This house is not bougie." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, it is."
Yeah, it is.
And I said, I guess I'll just look at it differently. I said, "But that's funny." I said, "Because what it is it's a community who wanted you to have their very best."
Wow.
It's the people who came in and made sure that every light switch worked, who came and made sure that every spot in the house is well lit. It's the people who wanted to make sure that you had quartz countertops and wonderful furniture and the best flooring. And I mean, I can't even describe the joy it is to get to walk into that house
Right.
every day. And every day I look at it and I see this community.
Yeah, you're right. No better place to be right here in Cleveland and Bradley County. Again, but the work continues.
It does.
You've got the facility now, but now that facility has got to give back to the community, and this is the way that we do it.
And that facility is being stretched more than we ever dreamed. There's more children days. When we opened, we didn't know, but we know now. And COVID has caused, we were in emergency status for foster families before COVID, but with COVID, it's put the foster care system in crisis because of just the need for foster parents.
Now, I know this is not what we're talking about today, but as we close out this interview, if people are interested in being foster parents, can you help me with that?
Oh, they can absolutely reach out to me, and I will get them in contact
Figured
with
they
some
could.
amazing people. And I've got to tell you, watching our Department of Children's Services workers, they work unending hours. They sit through the night with these children. They love them in ways that, the community cannot imagine. And they are there for their foster families also. So we're very thankful. And yes, we would love to be able to get you in touch, whether it be, for some people, it's that they can be a foster parent. For some, it's that they might be emergency placement. So it might be that they hold the children close to them for a day or two. And then when you can't do that, you can help at the Isaiah 117 house in many ways.
Yeah, there's a place for you. If you have a heart of children, and that's one of the things that we're deemed to do, if you're a believer, to take care of the older people in our lives and our children. And so that is something you definitely can do there with Isaiah 117 House. Well, Renee, great to have you in. Lemonade stands ready the 15th, 16th, and 17th of July. Reach out to you guys. Give me that contact information one more time.
It's 423-813-3113. You can get to us easily on Facebook at Isaiah 117 House, Bradley Polk.
Thanks so much, Renee. Great to see you.
Thank you. Always good to be here.
All right, this is Dwayne with Mix 1041.